I had to kill him. He's gonna kill my sister, so I had to kill him. My name is Gordon the Brain. I'm saved from the nightmare of life for his world. I grew up in a community where I just saw evil. Coming from a life called Pexels. It's very out of control. It's full of gang violence, raping, robbing, stealing, drug dealing. Seeing all these things like families abandon their own children. You know, it grows into him. He started to shoot guns and run around with guns and with knives. Now the community want to show, but hey, this was just another little baby boy. One day when he becomes 16, 13, 14, he will understand what this is the only life. Because it's printed in their brains, their brains has been indoctrinated. It's not to say that they went wrong into life and his life did wrong them. Now they need to fix themselves. If the parents don't play their license, the street is gonna raise that kid. And as soon as the street is raising that kid, the street is gonna take control of that kid because the parents was there. Like my father was always there in my life, you know, but my father never played the role as a father in my life because he was an alcoholic gangster himself.
You worthless. You mean absolutely nothing to me, you small devil.
Abused by father, abused by my auntie.
I cannot hear that kid.
She was abusing me with the same walk. The same way my father treated me, the same way she treats me. Instead of them loving you, they're destroying you. That was the painful thing because strangers play a father role in my life. That's how I start to love them more than I start to love my own father. It's just that I hated him. I hated him so much. I hated him like the devil hates Jesus. My mom was a Christian. She been abused by my father for many times.
You really work.
She grew up as an orphan.
God is your father.
The people in the orphanage made my mother believe that God is a father. My mother will always hit me if I don't go to school or if I don't go to church. In my culture, you know, the colored culture, like they say that I'll trek uit die hakieskoen, I'll slak hulle vir jou met die hakieskoen. My mother was hit me like a mother needs to hit a child and needs to grow up to become successful in life. But my auntie did hit me almost wanted to kill me. I was angry at the world, I was angry at God.
Why are you doing it?
I've never hated my mother, but I just hated the God that was inside of her.
God is not hearing you.
Talking about Jesus that saves, that gives grace, but mother, we are dying and this prayers is not happening. Because at the age of 16 years old, my sister on the one hand was a big drug dealer, yeah, I'm on the other hand a big drug dealer and all that, running the streets, both of us. Just living my life, you know, love to survive.
I'm gonna kill you.
This guy was arguing with my sister. I just went blind in my mind and I just started to stab this guy. I built this nightmare by myself, you know. That's where I went into jail, and I got convicted when I was about 17 years old. From there I was sentenced to 10 years, and I went to the same prison where Nelson Mandela was released, you know, Drakensberg prison. Being in prison was really a nightmare. Believe there is no God, there's no Jesus in prison. This is a place where we all live and die. Growing up on the streets of Pexels is like prison all around, all gangsters. Most of my homeboys that I grew up since I've been kids, they were in jail. I grew up with that criminal mentality, you know. My father being a gangster, you know, leaving raised me just for jail. My father was a 27 gangster. When I went into jail, I was just following my brother's footsteps. It was so dead. Because I was raised by the 28 gangsters, I understand the 28 gangsters. This is the only life and the only thing that I have to focus on now is to make prison my home. I'm over, my life is done, you know, I have no more future, I have no more life. And for me, the only thing was just to survive. So many ways to get drugs into prison, to deal drugs and to smuggle into from the guards. They always get their cut, gangsters they get their cut, everybody's get their cut, you know. It's like working hand in hand, you know, the government that takes money and they're making fast money. The money that they make in jail, they know they will rather die for this money or anything will happen. My time in 2000s, no, you're not allowed to have money, so I always had money on me because it was all about fighting for power. So they have to take me out of my jail cell. They moved me to be alone, like I believe for 6 months. That was the time when I was just fighting with my memories, fighting with the demons in my head. When they shot my brother, they shot my life. Just 2-3 weeks, you know, is out of prison. You're happy to see your brother. Oh wow, my father is home, my God is home, my everything is my brother. I love him because he's the only one that gave me love. Just hear the gunshot. People came in running and shouting. It's like, hey, there they shoot your brother. And for me to go to the scene by myself, and I didn't cry. I was just watching and looking how my brother was suffering, you know, in the hands of my sister. That day I just lost it. This guy is shouting and he's saying he's gonna kill my sister. That moment it just took me back to the days where I was a little kid. Just went blind and I'm killing that guy in front of all of them. So the only thing that can keep me busy was the Bible. And the moment I open up, it's just where God revealed my future for me, my dreams for me. Psalm 19, I was like a Daniel that side in the room, you know, and God is doing the impossible. I just started to go to church and I started to go to school, and I always had a teacher calling Mr. Hayes. I remember there was one time when I believe I gave him a paper, there's nothing written on it, and he came to me and he's like,
Gordon, there's nothing on here.
At least if you could have just answered the questions, and even though you still get a note, you know, that note doesn't mean you were failing. That note makes you believe you did try at least to understand the question. That mark must inspire you. That's actually where I discovered how talented I am in the inside, finishing my school. Convicts always told me that the certificates is not real. I didn't believe those type of convicts that told me these types of words. I will never get a job, I will never survive with this certificate. Always hard to believe in their positive voices. The most important thing is like you need to get a job, you need to survive when you go outside as a convict. Come from prison into society, it's a whole different world. It's like a new planet. I want to come out and be successful, you know. My mother came and visited me in prison, and she's like, I want to tell you something about your father. He gave his life to Jesus. And I was like, what? No ways, it's impossible. He's the devil? Hell no, he was one of the biggest prison gangsters. I came out of prison 2012, facing society again, facing community, facing a world that it looks like a different planet to me. I was looking at my father. He went to church, he played with his grandchildren and he talked to his grandchildren. Did I feel jealous in a way? Of course, because he's my father. On his dying bed, I was just looking at my father and asking him, he loved me. All he said to me, I did what I had to do in order to raise you. He never got loved by his father. He didn't grow up broken, so he raised me broken. He made me believe that the world is a broken world. In the eyes of God, nothing is impossible. There was just one day where I gave a little testimony about myself.
And people ask me, Tally, why will you hug a murderer? Well, he's my brother. It makes our job when we go to Polsmore and the other prisons so worthwhile.
One of the participants in games was like, hey, I can help you. Did you ever heard about a place called Arlem? As I went to Arlem, my whole mindset opened. A lot of skills development programs. First time sitting in front of a laptop. Now I'm working on the basics of the computer and laptop, and I was like, what am I doing? You know, and after that, I could feel in myself that how I started to develop. They're not teaching me guns, drugs, violence. Now they're teaching me a whole different technology lifestyle, you know. And as 2016 came around, I was just like, here I am doing film and television with Midia Village. My vision just grew much more bigger. And I said in the beginning, I cannot write a test. And the director of Midia Village, and she's like, you can write the test, don't fear the test. I failed the test, I was feeling a little bit down, you know, and she came to me and just like, don't feel down, be motivated. Doesn't matter you fail, it's not gonna say you're gonna fail forever. In that moment when she told me that, I thought about my teachers that are here in prison that told me, never give an empty paper. Yes, I managed to pass the rewrite. She came to us and say, we will go to Durbanville. I'm just like, Durbanville, it's one of the richest places that you can get in Cape Town. And when we got there, wow, this is it, big mansion, the pool, and cameras in like rooms. You know, they say we need to write stories about our lives. Diane from Martie came to me and she's like, hey, we're looking for a couple of students. Stories that we can record in front of the camera. My story, you know, when it goes to CBN, it will reach millions of people. And as I was sharing my story, I know because I built that character through God's help and all that. As we get close to graduation, and I can make it go and study with Americans. I was like, wow, we're Muizenberg Youth with a mission. In my first 3 weeks, I was a little bit nervous, but in my 2-3 months, I came to discover how it is to live in proper normal house. Remember, the way I grew up, take my food, go sit on the floor. I grew up with my hand, but here I learned how to eat with a knife and a fork. It was very hard. How do I cut the food? You know, I was fighting with the food. I didn't talk a lot to people. People came to talk to me, and it was always asking me, Gordon, why are you so shy? But in my eyes, like, I don't understand how to approach it. Anyone that sit there by me, I will just look at it. Out of that, I've learned table manners. Learned so much, you know, the responsibilities that we get. Clean the gardens, clean the dishes, cleaning the streets of Muizenberg. It was part of the protocols for me. It was more personal. This is more practical work that I learned for myself into the future, because in my culture, for me personally, I have 2 sisters. I never had responsibilities to do these type of things. I started to believe that one day I will have a house with a wife, with children. They will look up to me, so if I do this type of things right now, they will also do it.
Thank you for taking responsibility.
For the first 3 months, it was so unbelievable. The leaders that I have, the father heart that they taught me, you know, and I was like, I'm talking to grown men. They talk to me the way my own father never spoke to me.
I'm so proud of you.
It's still a painful heart, but it's developing to love. Now I can talk to them positive. Now I'm dressing even better. My language started to change, speak to people with respect in the environment, which is way different from the township where I come from. It's what I must do to prosper. Now we're gonna fly in a plane to a country called Uganda. I was like, me in a plane. I was scared when that thing took off. I prayed all my life. Like I've never prayed before. I was like, God, I will die. Why do you bring me this high to die? Because the plane is safe. Like that made me fear, because the plane is safe. I was scared. I didn't fear a gun. I didn't fear a knife. But yeah, I fear this plane. Honestly, when the plane got there, I was like, God, your will has been done. God, you are the God of all gods, because for me to be in this country, this is the turning point. This is unbelievable. That's where I believe that God is real. God can open up doors that people try to close. God will open it for you. Thank you, God. Thank you for all the people that you have sent my way. Before graduation, it was just again, what now? These guys are gonna go into the big houses. Me, I'm just gonna go back to the town, sir. You know, one of the leaders came to me and is like, we have a bursary for you to do 12 months, School of Biblical Studies. I said, yes, I will do it. 2-3 weeks after it, my friend from Canada, I have a job for you. I was like, you have a job for me? He's like, yeah, I have a job for you. You can go and work at Origin. I didn't do coffee or anything. I was just a running a cleaner, cleaning toilet. Remember, they have already taught me responsibilities. In the one side, there's a coffee industry. In the other side, there's a food industry. And if the customer needs the food, I take it from me. Everybody's like, there's Wisdom Thomas, a champion coffee. He's like, I don't care about that, man. And he's like, hey, Gordon, why don't you try coffee? I was like, no. And he's like, oh, then you can do it, man. I was like, you sure? Yeah, he's like, just try. And he was always coming to, you know what, Gordon?
You are a champion.
You're a champion. I'm like, nah, you're the champion. Like, no, just remember, you're a champion. Whatever you do, for you to wake up every day in the morning, to stand up, to come to work, this is about you being a champion. I'm starting to taste the coffee, call come through for me again. Your bursary is still here. And that 12 months of School of Biblical Studies was the best studies of my life ever. Now I need to step in to become the son of God. My passion for coffee actually grew as well. I graduated and I started to do like little jobs, you know, I did car wash, I did garden work, I did all this type of things. And somebody just came to me and was like, hey, don't you want to volunteer in Wawe Musenberg, you know, with Lekker Brew? Coffee have really made me believe that I see the heart on the face of God in coffee. As long as I can do it, I never did a lot for my mother, but that's what I did over the many years as a kid. You know, I will do it with love and with passion in my heart that God gave me. People is drinking coffee, so this is really an international business coming all the way from Ethiopia. That is actually my heart desire, just to grow more in this industry of coffee. I have this dream, you know, to go and study a barista course with Winston Thomas. Nothing is impossible. Whatever is impossible, you just need to work it possible. Now I believe that how God can change a murderer into a son of God. They're like, how did you get it right? I say only one name. It's called Jesus.